Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our workshop or our webinar about lighting design with Open BIM. My name is Daniel Witzel. I'm from the DIALux development department, and I will be your host today. And together with me here is, for example, Ariane. Ariane is one of our trainers here at the DL Academy. There's also Connie. She's also a trainer in the DL Academy. And additionally, we've got a special guest today from Graphisoft. It's Jochen Kowitz. Hello, welcome. And finally, we've got Klaus here to my right. Klaus is the team leader of the DIAL Academy, and he will take care today about your questions. And this directly brings me to two important points. First of all, please mute your microphones. There's a huge amount of participants today, so there's always a dog barking or a helicopter taking off, so please mute your microphones. And additionally, if you've got any questions, of course, you'll have got time at the end of our webinar, so please use the Q&A feature of Zoom. Please do not use the chat, just use the Q&A feature to ask your questions. Klaus will have a look at them, he will solve them a little bit, and in the end, we've got several minutes to discuss your questions. So we start with our first point. It's what is BIM? Well, the Building Smart tells us that building information modeling, BIM, is a process involving the generation and management of digital representations of a physical and functional characteristics of a place. Well, this is a quite long sentence. It's absolutely right, but it does really not answer our question, what is BIM? So let's have a further look at it. First of all, BIM is a digital representation. We're also talking about a digital twin. It's the way to create a physical thing like a building into a digital thing. And BIM helps us to create this. BIM is, which I think is a little bit more important, it's also a workflow. BIM suggests us things how to organize such a digital representation. And mainly, I think it's a convention. BIM is not only some digital thing, but it's an announcement. It's how the different people, the different participants on a project can work together on a new project like construction a building. It's about collaboration. It gives us rules and ideas and processes how to work together, how to organize our work in such a project. And finally, this is maybe the most important thing for us as a software developer, it defines interfaces. For example, not only, but for example, the IFC, the Industry Foundation Classes. BIM is also a description of a life cycle. It's not only for creation, but it helps us to do the concept of a new project. It helps us to collect the data and offer them to all of the participants of the project. That's the same with the design, with the documentation of important information. It helps us with the fabrication of things, of objects, of products that are part of the new building. It helps us during the construction. It shows the construction, it organizes the construction, but also the operation. It's not only for creating a new building, but also maintain the building, do the operation. It helps us to understand how many square meters do we have got in such a building, which is the age of the light sources, for example. How is the cleaning, the maintenance of the different rooms organized, and so on. All this could be displayed in BIM. It also helps us with the renovation, which starts the cycle again with a new concept, for example, for a building. Or it also helps us with the demolition, with the recycling of the parts that are used inside the building. Nowadays, or in previous projects, you sometimes have the problem that you do not know which materials were used by building this thing. Now, with BIM, we have got a source where all the current information is displayed and collected. Mainly, BIM helps us to exchange information between the different participants of our project. For example, between the engineer and the owner, or the manufacturer and the architect. And the reason why we do today this workshop or this webinar today is because we are, of course, participants of this exchange of information, because everybody is working with a part model of the whole BIM. Not everybody is interested in all information, but everybody needs special information. And for example, we've got here DIALux and DDScad, for example, which take part in this process. So what is inside BIM? BIM is not only something like a DWG or so, where you can see what will happen, but it gives us a digital image of the real building. So we can see the real object in a digital way. For example, if you draw in the ground plan, for example, a door, you may understand, well, this will be a door, but BIM also knows this attached to a place we call entrance. We can directly see which is the diameter of this object, but we can also see which is the reason why is here a door, which kind of door is it, what is the material of the door, how does it look? And at the end, it also includes the real product, the real information, how to order this product and how it could be maintained during the whole life cycle. When we understand what BIM is, there's also the question, what is BIM not? There's a whole misunderstanding or a big amount of misunderstanding in the world. Well, BIM, of course, is not a solution for everything. As I told you in the beginning, BIM is a kind of collaboration. It's a contract between all the different players for a new project. But if you do not care about this communication, if you do not care about the way how to exchange the data, BIM cannot help you with these questions. BIM is not just cut in 3D. This is a very often called misunderstanding of BIM. BIM is not 3D. BIM is much more, as I tried to explain in my first sentence at the beginning. For example, in a plan, we see, well, there could be a door, but a program like DIALux or like DDScad does not know that this symbol, this thing we can see on the right, what does it mean? What is the meaning of a door, for example? BIM gives us the information, this is this door, it's made of this material, and you can buy, for example, here and here, this is the manufacturer, and this is the reason why we selected exactly this type of door. And BIM is not a file format. Also a very often called misunderstanding. BIM is not IFC, and IFC is not BIM. So that brings me to the point, what is Open BIM? Maybe you already heard about Open BIM and Closed BIM. So what is the main difference between those? Well, Open BIM is the possibility to use different expert tools. You have got this IFC interface, which describes the structure of the whole project. And all the different participants can communicate via IFC or with a part of this IFC. So everybody can select its own part model of the IFC. So you've got common shared data, which can be exchanged between the different players here. Of course, you always need a coordinator, which tells the different participants who takes care about that the rules are fulfilled. You may use different software solutions, like DDScad and DIALux. And every expert can use its own tool that is made for its own purpose. Okay. On the other hand, we've got Closed BIM. So what is Closed BIM? Closed BIM uses other types of formats, proprietary formats, for example. That means everybody is working on the same building model here, and everybody is working on the same software platform. Maybe you know this already from Revit. So everybody can use Revit, and they can exchange, of course, data directly through the interface that Revit offers. So what is the reason, or which is the reason why we as DIAL, as a maker of DIALux, are talking about IFC and BIM, and why is it so important for us? Of course, it's quite important because it saves a lot of time for the lighting designer to import the geometry of a project instead of creating it by itself. But it goes a little bit deeper. When we started with the DIALux Evo project, I think it was around about 2005 or 2006, the main idea of DIALux was always to create whole buildings and whole stories, not only single rooms. And this was also the time when IFC was developed, the exchange format from BIM. So we use the IFC structure to get an idea how we can organize a project, a building or a couple buildings inside of a software. And this is the reason why DIALux is very close to IFC, because the inner structure of DIALux is made on the base of IFC. It's not 100% the same, because for the lighting calculation, of course, we need different or some different types of information. Not all of the information is stored in IFC, but it's very close to it. And this gives us a possibility to work very close and very deeply inside of the BIM and the IFC interface. And if you have a very close look to the project plan or the project tree inside of DIALux, you can see this structure and you see the different levels of IFC with the site, with the building, with the stories, with the spaces, and so on. This is absolutely the reason why you can see this here in DIALux. So this was my first part, just as an introduction, what is BIM? And now we go deeper inside of the topic. So Ariane now will tell us what is BIM in DIALux.
Okay, so I will share my screen for this. And we'll start with with an example of a building model. And for this, maybe you can use also here the DDScad viewer. And I will show you first our building. So we have this here. As Daniel said, we have the structure here. I can show you this. Maybe you get a first overview about this project, how it looks like, and you see here the complete structure. You will find here all spaces and other elements for the building. That's very important for me to show you, because this structure we will find then in DIALux. So I will open a preview from our new development from DIALux. So this is a version you can't use at the moment, but it will come. And here I can show you the new feature from the IFC import and how it looks like. So I have opened it with the free, the free version for the DIALux Pro. So this is it. And we can use the import like this here, or very easy, I can use drag and drop to open it. Yeah, and now we find an assistant. We have the structure from the IFC project here. We can select some elements when they don't be imported. But I think I want to use all these elements. And very important here at the bottom, I want to use my reflection factor, which I have used or replaced here in the settings. So I say finish and will import this IFC file. You get some information about the model. If you like, you can download this. I want to go forward here with this project. You see now it's the same building like in the DDScad viewer. And first I want to show you now how you can find the settings with the reflection factors. That's here in the general settings under project. So I have used these reflection factors for all surfaces in my model in DIALux now. Okay, what's new or how it looks like? We have here the structure for the site, the building, different stories. I can use the views for different stories. And also new is now that we have the different spaces. So in the new version, you can find the function about all the or the information about the spaces. You can see this here in the story view, in the 2D view, that now the spaces have the right name, like in the IFC file. I found or find all spaces listed, and you can modify the spaces if you like. Maybe here the corridor, I can use another profile like this for the corridor. Let me check here, circulation area, for example, with another utilization profile. So this is possible, but also it's new that you can add some spaces. For example, here I use the story ground floor to add one space to show this as an example. So I have created a new space. That's important because we will export the IFC file later, and then you can see what will happen. So I have here my space, maybe, or entrance, and so on. So we can use this outside. It's also possible to create new spaces. It's on your side. If it is required that you need some different spaces that are for your lighting design necessary, so we can use it here. I will show maybe of entrance, the outdoor space, like this. So we have this here. Okay, now I want to insert some luminaires. I think that's also necessary to use this. Let me check here my view. I can't spy it. So I would check it on the button. So now, okay, so I will change here to my luminaire tool and insert some luminaires. For example, here outside the building, I can create some elements. Let's check here. Another one, for example, like this. I will change. Okay. So I have some seconds that are disturbing here. So I will show also the light distribution, for example, to check it, the right construction here, right placement. Yeah, that looks good. And maybe I will change to another. So I will go back here to the story and insert there also some luminaires. For example, we have here another one like this. And I will use the automatic arrangement for spaces. Yeah, only an example that I can use it in different rooms and that I want to export later. And maybe one luminaire here in my new space. Let me check it here. We can see the created contour here of the new space, and then I place some luminaires. Oh, okay, so like this. Yeah, we can go forward with each room, but I think that is okay here. I will try to change one more time to the first floor to create one luminaire more, than because that's better for the export, that you can see what will happen. So I have different stories with different luminaires that I place. And yeah, so now you see also here my outdoor space. So that's very important that we can now export all luminaires. So we have the structure from the IFC file. So we want to go to our export tool, and here we find the IFC button, the function for the IFC export. You can use different formats if you like, so or file types. So that is here. You can select it. I will use the standard file type. And yeah, now I say export to new file and place it here. So I have exported all luminaires with their information about the position, the manufacturer information, and so on. And yeah, how it looks like. I think the next step can be to check it when I use now once more the DDScad viewer. So we have now here only the building, but it is possible that you can say, I go to File and add the IFC file from my export. So it's here. And now you find both. You can compare the, it's the same structure. So in the first view, it looks like the same. But when we check it, you can see maybe here in the story from the building in the ground floor, we have 18 spaces. And when I go to my exported luminaire IFC file, then I can go to the same story, but you see now I have 19 spaces. So that's information that new created spaces will be exported and you can compare it. And yeah, also we have now the information that in one room here are light fixtures and you get these informations here. Yeah, and maybe when I will deselect here the different or hide the different stories, then you can see what will happen. Now we find here the luminaire position. I will hide the ground floor and then you see the luminaires are combined here in this model, also on the exterior side. So that is the new overview here. And I think it's a good way and you can go forward with your work, but we have now the new development also with the DDScad. And I think now, Jochen, it's your turn to show how it works when you go directly to the DDScad and you can show there the workflow to save time and get more information.
Yes, I will try.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ariane. And also from my side, again, hello to everybody. My name is Jochen Kowitz, as already mentioned, and I'm from the product development, product management from DDScad. And I would like to take a look with you together today, and I will start sharing my screen. Let's select the correct one. I hope you can see now my screen. I would like to take a look with you together today in this new DIALux Evo interface between DDScad and DIALux Evo, which will be released in the upcoming next version, DDScad version 20 in October. So I would say let's start directly. You see here I have prepared the project. I will activate it. It is currently empty, so I have to start here and would like to import the same, would like to use the same IFC file like shown from Ariane. So I start the import function, I select the correct IFC and see then, let's check here a few things inside DDScad. I would like to import. And this is then the result, how it looks like in the first view. We are currently here inside the ground floor. So it's not the complete building because the DDScad is automatically splitting all the different stories into different models. We would like to work inside different models, but it is also possible, for example, when it is possible to create a special model, for example, and to show here all the stories. I would like to do this to get an impression that this is really the same project. Let's switch off a few annoying lines here. And in 3D, also with maybe some render options, we see then, okay, that's the same building. Everything is as shown before from Ariane. Also, the IC structure is here visible. So it's absolutely the same like in our DDScad viewer. I will continue in the ground floor and would like to show now directly the new interface to DIALux Evo. And this is, let's do zoom all, and maybe I would like also to switch off these annoying lines. This new interface is directly available here below this icon, and I will start it now directly. It will activate an interface dialog in the background. You see this already, and automatically also DIALux Evo will be started in the background. And that takes maybe a few seconds. Hopefully not too long. Yesterday we detected that when sharing a screen with Zoom, it is a bit slower, the performance, than without sharing a screen. But I can tell you, meanwhile, that DDScad has prepared a special IC model in the background, which will now be imported here automatically, more or less, inside DIALux Evo. We will see this soon. The workflow I would like to show here, when we have both applications installed at one and the same PC, it is like it is that we would like to support the user that he has to do only one click, which I did already in DDScad. We see now here the start screen. I do nothing currently. It will automatically create a new project inside DIALux Evo, and it will import the, as mentioned before, the IC model which was created in the background. And here we are at the same import interface like shown from Ariane. I see the structure. In this case, when I confirm this, we see then also in the model here that it is a bit different, because DDScad is thinking in stories, in different models, and not in not as default, so to say, in the complete building. That's the reason why we see here this ground floor model in this situation. I will directly start and place some light fixtures into this ground floor model. And for this, I switch over and select a wanted light fixture here from my list. I will take the same, maybe this Airco light here. And I would like also to use automatic placement in a few rooms, for example, in this room. When checking in 3D, we see that in my version here, this is, by the way, an internal DIALux Evo test version, which I'm using here currently. And this version is not able to detect spaces. So I have currently a problem that the height will not be detected, placed automatically. I have to adjust it. I will do this. But this is only because it's an in-between version here, a test version. So let's place maybe also in a few other rooms the lights, some lights that we have a few more. Also here I will adjust yeah. Okay, that's more or less the same. It's quite easy and fast when using this nice automatic arrangement placement. So it will also take another light fixture to show another situation, maybe this room. Also here I have to adjust the height, and this room. And then I think that's enough for this demonstration. I can do a light calculation, and then I get all the nice reports and documentation inside DIALux Evo, of course. when this is done, we get, of course, also these nice representations here in DIALux Evo. And the last step now, when I'm ready, I go also to the export function. I'm using also the IFC, because this new interface, as already mentioned, based on the IFC, of course, on Open BIM. The functionality knows automatically, directly where the DDScad project is located. There is a special subfolder, and here the IFC, the result IFC file must be stored. I will store it, and immediately now in this situation, when I'm switching back to the DDScad window, which is here below, I see in this interface dialog, which was active already, I see the result. I see in which rooms, which light fixture products are placed inside DIALux Evo. I have here also information about the number. And with one click, I can place all the light fixtures in my model. So that's then the nice result here in DDScad. Okay, I will also here, it is a bit slow. Okay, I will adjust here some colors to see the light fixtures a bit better. So I will switch all the IFC elements to a defined pen. Let's check out the gray. So, come on. Okay, so then I would like to check out one object a bit closer. So I use a zoom to it. And we see here the same representation as in DIALux Evo, which is of course very nice. In addition, when I have selected an object which is here placed automatically, we see at the right-hand side some properties. And by the way, this product was created automatically in the background from the new interface inside our new Open BIM library, which based also on the IFC standard. And we see here in this property grid a few properties which were sent over from DIALux. So I can also take a look, for example, at the so-called type properties. Then we see even a few more properties. So that's a special window. So we have not only the short description, we have, for example, also the mounting type and everything else which is available. In addition, we see here also a port, and I will talk about this electrical connection port for cable a bit later. So that's the result. And what can I do now in DDScad? I can, for example, create directly a part list with one click and get then a nice report. I'm sorry for this slow performance. I can tell you it is much faster when I'm not sharing the screen. I have no clue why Zoom is doing this with us, or especially with me. So here's something still. I'm waiting for a dialog. Is it not there? Okay. That's not the dialog I wanted to show. maybe I will try and switch off my camera. Maybe that's a bit faster than hopefully. Here it comes up now. So that's our part list report. And here we can then create, for example, part list per rooms. And we see all the light fixture products and the quantity in the different rooms. But what else can be done? I was talking about a port, and I will now place a cable and connect it to these light fixtures. So let's check out how this works. I will create here a distribution board, place it at any position, doesn't matter for this presentation. In this table, we see the content of the distribution board, meaning the circuits, and I will add here a few circuits to be able to place finally a cable. Maybe I need an RCD, and in addition, circuit with a protection device for all the light fixtures. So that's it. In this list, I see a bit more content. I can do a copy and paste, and now I'm ready to place and connect cables. I will also use here a cable pass functionality to make it a bit easier to place cables, especially when I would like to place a few cables in parallel, so to say. Then I select a circuit and start placing and connecting the cable. And you see now that this light fixture here, which was created automatically from this interface, has a special port for cable connection, and this was created automatically. So when I now take a look again into the property grid at the right-hand side, I have also here an information about the connected circuit. And the connected circuit is directly here visible with this label. So this circuit information will be visible immediately. Let's connect a few more, because I would like also to show then another benefit or another possibility. And let's also connect a few light fixtures here in the other rooms. Maybe I can also can use this one. It's not always needed. We have also other cable carrier systems, like, of course, cable trunking or cable tray systems. This is one possibility to route the cable through an installation model. So let's connect also these. And what is then possible when I have created such connections? Let's check out our so-called system navigator here at the left-hand side. We see the complete cable structure. So we see the connected device. We see the cable segments in between. So we have now the possibility to do calculations, electrical calculations on these connected devices. We see also here, looking at the circuit list, we see the connected load because each object has defined total load, which will be taken when I connect the cables. And I can also visualize this structure or this connected system in a schema model, which can be created automatically. And that's our so-called overview schema. I will switch on my camera again, because I'm nearly at the end of the points what I wanted to show. And of course, we can a lot of more stuff here inside DDScad. We can create the complete electrical system. This was only a small insight into the light fixture. What's going on?
Jochen, can you show the details about the luminaires on the right? I think that there were all the information what is given from DIALux to DDScad?
Yes, I can show it again. I showed it already. Or was it not visible?
Yeah, I didn't see the yellow box with all the details about the product. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I will show it again. That is the point what I wanted to show, this automatically created schema, and here we see all the connected light fixtures. We get complete information about the electrical system here. We see the content of the distribution board, protection device, and the light fixtures. And back in the main model, what you wanted to see maybe is, let's select this light fixture product. I selected first the other one. And this selected product shows here at the right-hand side all the properties which were created automatically. I mentioned already that this product was created automatically in the new Open BIM library. And we see here the product description, the article number, and some other properties at the first view. And when we go a bit deeper with this icon in the so-called type properties, we see all the properties which are available in this result IFC file, which comes from DIALux Evo. Even the long text is here available and inserted. And yes, I think that's mainly it, what I wanted to show here. And I hope you got an idea what is possible with this new nice interface. Yeah, we're looking forward to release this version then in a few months. There are actually a few months already, yes. Okay. Then I would like to give the word to Connie, and I'm sure that she has also a few or nice features to show.
Yes, thank you, Jochen. Yeah, my name is Connie, and I will be the part where I will show you the transfer or the import and export from Revit into DIALux Evo. And so it's a webinar from Open BIM, so not only DDScad is the possibility to export and import the IFC file also with Revit, and that's the reason why I will show you this right now. Let's just share the screen with you. So, and show the Revit project. Okay. So yeah, you can see directly here in this Revit overview here that there's a file already open, and you can see. I just need to close this here. So you can see it's a office building with a few stories, and it's already done and ready, and I just directly show you how you can export it. So you can go directly to File, Export, and then to IFC file. Then you have the possibility to save the name and say where you want to save it, and you can choose here the different formats, but if you have already here the IFC 2x3 coordination view 2.0, then it's already perfect. So you can get this. You can find this also here in the list, and then just click on export. And, yes, it's already there. We'll replace it. And after. So you can see it then on your on my desktop, directly there. Just can close it. So it's already here on my desktop, and then I will open DIALux Evo. So I can import here with my Pro version the IFC file, which I exported. Yes, I overwrote it, and then I go to import. So I take this IFC file, which I just created a few minutes ago, and then again you get the same overview as you have seen it from Ariane and Jochen. You just need to go here to say yes, you want to have all of these different levels on stories and furnitures, and you can import it directly here if you click to finish. This takes some minutes or seconds, depends how big your project is. And that's the reason why I have already also here open 2 files. One file is with the version 12.1. So it's the version which is already published. So you can already also import here this file in this version. And what I wanted to show you also, for example, here in Revit, you can see then perhaps, for example, in the floor plan, for example, here, this room, and this room, the name is Office 1, for example, and you can see directly also here in DIALux Evo, you have these total building, and you can see also the different stories. For example, here again floor plan, and you can see there also this room. And but what you can see here, the room name is not the same in this version, and that's the reason why I have imported also the same file in the version which showed also Ariane. So it's a version, you can see it at 12.2, which is not yet published, but in a few, I think Dani will tell you this later when we're supposed to publish this version. And you can see this also here with the green, green walls here. That's the reason, because this is a not published version. But you can see here, wow, it's a little bit covered there. This is now really the room name. So you can go here directly also to this room. It's the Office 1 again, so it has the same room name as before. So in this new version, they can also import the spaces, the correct spaces, which are created, for example, in other projects, for example, in Revit or DDScad. Yes, so that's, for example, one new thing which you can see here in this version. Okay, and then I just wanted to show you also something, because I've heard there were also some sometimes some problems with the different stories or different. So in Revit, you need to define really correctly the different things or stories which belongs to a story and which not, which is only a layer and which not, to really have a good import here in DIALux Evo, so that you get then really here total building with really these 3 different stories. And and I just want to show you one way how you can discover some mistakes or some errors in your IFC file. For example, there's one tool or one viewer beside DDScad. You can see with the BIM vision, for example, also already before you import, or if you have some problems in DIALux Evo with the stories and rooms presentation, then you can, for example, see here with the set line or set regular, you can find, for example, if the construction is correct in your IFC file or in your original project. And if you have some problems in these, you can see this problems already in the viewer, then you will see this then also in DIALux Evo, for example. And just one additional information. If you have these problems with the story view, then you need to go here, for example, where you can see the different layers in Revit. And if you click directly there on this one of these layers of the line, then you can find here the very important tick in the checkbox. It needs to belong here to the building story. And the other lines, for example, for the suspended ceiling or for the interior wall or whatever, this belongs then not to the story. It's just a layer, and this tick needs to delete. So, and if you would have here this tick also, then in DIALux Evo you would have also for the suspended ceiling one story, and that's then a problem that you have. Sometimes a lot of stories in DIALux Evo. So if this file in Revit is, for example, not corrected, defined, or the property is not correct. Okay, this was just the part which I wanted to show you here regarding import and export in Revit to DIALux Evo. That was my part. Now let's go to
Daniel.
Good. I will close my presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Jochen. Thank you, Conny. Thank you, Ariane. This was quite impressive. Even Jochen, I haven't seen it, the interconnection between DDScad and DIALux. This was the first time for me, so I like it very much. Very impressive. And I think it was a very good example what's really the reason to doing Open BIM here, because as I told you before, it's, in our opinion, it's necessary that every expert can use it, experts too. And this is exactly the way how it should work, I think. So, next point on our list is the Q&A. No, sorry, the outlook. What is coming soon in DIALux Next, according to Open BIM, according to BIM, and according to IFC files? Well, first of all, in the last month, we had got a lot of interviews with experts about how do you care about IFC and BIM, what is your requirement, what are you doing with, according to DIALux, of course, according to lighting design. But we tried also to understand what is before the lighting design and what is after the lighting design. And we did this because we want to understand the workflow, how the architect, the lighting designer really work with it. In the past, we just used IFC as one of a lot of big amounts of import formats on a technical base. And now we try to improve the workflow. And this is also a thing we will see in our next DIALux version, but also in the versions after that. So IFC will be on our way in this year, and I think also in the next year. And we try to do an import or an improve of the DIALux version according to IFC and BIM through all the next versions that are coming. A very important point of this is the merging element part. It's a technical point. We have seen or we heard from Conny that the import may take a long time, several minutes, and also know some projects which take up to an hour or more, even more. And Conny also already told us that it's depend on the size of the project. To be correct or to be more detailed, it's a question of the complexity. Let me just explain it to you. DIALux, the way how you create a building inside, is based on merging elements. That means if you place a wall or 4 walls on a surface, then DIALux automatically identifies the connection between those surfaces. We have seen them in our previous versions as these green elements you have seen in the CAD element. And this is because in the past we had a look at the correct calculation, and for the correct calculation it's very important that all the surfaces are separated, so you receive an exact, detailed, different calculation result on each surface in the project. but this is very expensive for the calculation. And this is the reason why importing such IFC files takes so long, because DIALux tries to merge every element with every other element. And of course, now we understand this is really a problem in workflow, because nobody has time to wait a minute or even an hour for such a project. So we took a new approach to this. We tried to avoid these merging elements. We had some tests about what happens to the calculation if we do not merge this, and the results were quite positive. Nevertheless, this may influence your calculation result slightly. So we will give the customer or the user of DIALux the possibility to make a decision. Do I want to work now very fast? Do I want to avoid this merging? Or do I need it for my special project? And this is what's coming in the next version, where you can save a lot of time during the IFC import. The next points we already heard are those spaces. In the past, DIALux created its own spaces, its own rooms. And now we are working on the way to import the IFC. You have already seen the results there. We are still working on it. It's not finished yet, but it will be in the next version, I think. And finally, also very important, if your import takes a bit of time, maybe it's useful to see what are you importing. We have seen this import dialog where you can select the different elements, the different stories, the different buildings, the different furnitures, for example, inside of our project. And maybe it's good for you to see what you're importing next. So we will add an import preview during the import. So if you switch on and off several elements, you can directly see before you start the real import of the project. Well, that's all for now. If, of course, we just had an hour. If you're interested more in it, just try our free test version of DIALux Pro for 30 days. There's also the free DDScad viewer, which I personally also use on my computer to check IFC files, for example. If you're more interested in the way how to work it, how the workflow will be done, and how to do the real lighting design inside of DIALux, you can go to our DIALux Academy. And if you just have questions or suggestions, or if you want to have new features inside of DIALux, just use our community. There's a feature upload, and if you've got good ideas and you think this is something I really want to have in DIALux in the next versions, then just give us there a short hint, and then you can directly communicate with me, with my colleagues from the development department, and also our help desk, and I think we will come together at this. You see also the links down there. You see dialux.com, communitydialux.com, and graphisoft.com for the DDScad parts. So far from my side, I think we have some questions, so I'll have a look at Klaus.
Yes, Daniel, I'm a little bit afraid because we are running out of time, but still I would like to answer or to pass some questions to you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, to use this F&Q section. So a lot of questions occurred here, and I tried to do my best to answer most of them, but it's not really possible to answer all of your questions. So one of the most possible or most important question was, Daniel, when will the next version be available? More or less, approximately. Could you let us know some?
Yes, of course. This is always a question. Yeah. I know this, and it's always the same answer when it's done. Okay. Nevertheless, of course, I understand the question. Right now, as I told you, we developed two parts. One part is about the outdoor standard, which we are working on. This is already finished. And parallel to this, we are working on this new IFC import, or this improvement of the IFC import with the spaces. And on Monday, we have got a meeting according to this point, and then we will do the selection or the decision if this could be released or not. So I expect to have the next version in round about 8 to 10 weeks.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Then I read some questions about the IFC files. Which are the specific requirements to create proper IFC files? Very often people to the experience that they had some problems with the IFC files, that they are not built correctly, that DIALux could not import them. I guess we wrote some information on our help desk regarding this, and you will find also some information in our DIALux Evo community. And well, if you have a problem with your IFC file, I would like to invite you to let us know, to get in touch with us. And well, we may have a look at the file and find out what's the problem. We are still on the improvement of the DIALux import, and maybe you would like to add some things about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the technical side, of course, you're absolutely right. Nevertheless, if you want to check or if you want to create a good IFC file, please have a look at the different levels, at the different stories. In my opinion, this is the most done failure outside there. IFC is not WG. If you just draw a line, it's not a wall. You really have to take care to use the correct objects. Use a wall as a wall and a door as a door and a column as a column, and do not try to combine them together. And make sure that all these elements are really accorded or assigned to the real level, to the real story. This is the main problem that we know from the files that make some problems.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. And one question, or some questions, was about the creation of IFC files. If it's possible to use DIALux directly as a CAD software to create the complete building and to export the complete building as an IFC file. And there we must admit that's not the idea of DIALux. DIALux is a lighting calculation software, and you can import an IFC geometry, insert your luminaires, and export the luminaires as an IFC file. And the BIM manager or the BIM coordinator may combine the IFC file of the luminaires together with the IFC file of the architecture and the rest, because DIALux is not meant to be a CAD software, and therefore you need some other features to create a real IFC building. Some further information regarding the walls and windows and so on, and this is not the idea of DIALux. And okay, and what? Yes, and there was one question I would like to address to you, Jochen. In the presentation, you showed DDScad and DIALux Evo, which are installed on your PC at the same time. Would it also be possible to use this new interface when the DIALux part should be done external, for example, from an external lighting designer? Can you tell us something about that?
Yes, we thought about all the different scenarios which are currently, at least in our heads, and exactly what I showed is the best, the fastest solution. But we have also implemented the possibility to export, to create a special IFC model, which then can be sent over to any external person who is then doing the lightning calculation with DIALux Evo. And as showed before, when doing the export inside DIALux Evo, this result IFC can then be created and sent back. And we have an option inside this special interface dialog to import then finally this result IFC, and we get the complete separate same result like presented, like shown in my presentation. That's absolutely possible. And by the way, to the previous question, you can use, for example, DDScad to create the building from scratch and to export this finally as an IC model to reuse or to use it then finally in DIALux. That's possible.
Okay, thank you very much. I guess so far these were the most, or some of the most important questions, I guess. Okay.
So, thank you for your attention. Thank you for taking part of our short 1-hour webinar here. Special thanks to Jochen Koblitz for your presentation, quite impressive. Thank you also to you guys. And, well, see you next time. Goodbye.
See See you.
Bye.
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 Ciao.